Derby County still have a lot of work to do in this summer transfer window, with right back, central midfielder and the two wing options being positions which Derby County still need to strengthen. But who are they going to get to strengthen those positions? Now, over the course of the last few weeks, we've spoke about every single rumour and link that has been about Derby County's transfer history, mainly ones to do with the likes of Travis, the likes of Tyrhys Dolan, and also that of Callum Brittain. And I think it's really interesting to look into these. Obviously, a couple of days ago, we spoke about the potential signing of Sam Morsey, but obviously that deal will not be going ahead as he looks set to join QAFC. But it's one of those for me. Dolan, Brittain and Travis all improved Derby County, but will those deals actually get done? Now, obviously, it is highly unlikely that Derby County will get all three, but it's certainly moves which Derby County need to be trying to get done. Now, obviously, we're going to discuss all of those players in this video, so if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. But should we get into it? Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets. Now, obviously, Travis, for me, is literally the player that Derby County need. Like, he is the exact type of player that we've been crying out for since Max Bird left, in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of people have their up and down opinions about Max Bird in regards to his ability and where he was actually good enough and that sort of thing. Now, I think everyone agrees that he was good enough for Derby County. It's just about what position he would have played. Now, in my opinion, he was one of those technical dictators. Get him on the ball, let him make things happen. And I think that's been the same for him at Bristol City. And I fear that as Derby County as a club, we haven't replaced that. And that's obviously something which John Eustace is trying to find this summer. Now, obviously, we have to go back a few weeks for the last discussion in regards of that of Travis, where he was valued at around £2 million, if I remember rightly. And obviously, Derby County have since gone on to sign Patrick Agyemang, and we've also confirmed the signings of Andy Vyman, Danny Bart, Richard O'Donnell, and the contract renewal of that of Liam Thompson. Now, there is a lot of work to do for me in regards to any transfer for Travis, because obviously you look at Blackburn Rovers and they're going to want to try and keep him. There's obviously going to be other clubs interested in Travis as well. But for me, Travis is that exact type of midfielder we need. Can get on the ball, can break up play, can make things happen, can be a part of both the attacking end of the pitch and the defensive end. I know he's probably more of a sitter, which is exactly what Derby County need for me. And I think when we look at Derby County's midfield options at the moment, you look at Ben Osborne, you look at Iber Adams, you look at Kenzo Halbmine, you look at obviously Iber Adams as well. And I think it's just one of those discussions which really needs to be had in regards to our midfield not quite being there. And I'm not going to turn around and say we don't have quality in midfield, because I think Iber Adams is brilliant on the defensive end. I think Kenzo Halbmine is brilliant on the ball. I think Ben Osborne and Liam Thompson have excellent work rate. But there's obviously a lot of work still to do in terms of turning this team into what could be not just a survival team, but one of the teams that can maybe push for the final place in the playoffs or push for the top half of the division. And that's obviously what John Eustace will be wanting to do. Now, obviously, at the end of the season, promotion will be a phenomenal year. Playoffs will be excellent. Top half will be great. Mid-table, good. Bottom half, disappointing, in my opinion. And obviously, there's a lot of work still to do. Now, will we get Travis? Now, for me, I think it's a difficult one really to discuss, because obviously the fee involved and obviously the situation in regards of Derby County is we've spent money on Carlton Morris, we've spent money on Patrick Agyemang, and no one really knows what's left in the pot, which is obviously quite smart by Derby, because it means that no one's going to turn around and try and take the piss out of us, essentially. But it's one of those which really needs to be discussed in regards of budgets and things like that. Because if we've gone and spent essentially £7 million on Patrick Agyemang, and now we struggle to bring in wide players and central midfielders, then I think we've made the wrong decision, because we're in desperate need of central midfielders. I spoke about it yesterday in the video about the squad depth and whether the signing of Agyemang has solved the problem up front, because that's a huge problem which Derby County had last season. So it is going to be interesting to see how this one develops. Now, obviously, you look in those wide areas, you've got Andreas Fireman can play out there, Kane Wilson, Joe Ward, Caden Jackson, Corey Blackett-Taylor. And yes, some of those players are good. Some have excellent quality. But for a lot of the time, consistency is the problem. And Kane Wilson will probably be preferred at right back to start the year. And that's sort of where you look at someone like Tyrhys Dolan, a player who Derby County have obviously been linked with over the course of, realistically, the last 5 months since John Eustace took the job at Derby County. And with him pretty much confirming that he won't be going back to Blackburn Rovers and is assessing his options, it sort of opens up that deal for him to come to Derby County now. Obviously, there is no sort of like latest update in regards to that of Tyrhys Dolan, but it's certainly one where, in my opinion, if Derby can sort of get a deal done for Dolan, I think we ultimately then become a top half team, because you add that extra bit of creativity, you add that spark, you add that flair, and I think that Tyrhys Dolan is a player that Derby County have really been missing. Now, there'll be a lot of people in regards to that sort of winger position, number 10 role, who may want to talk about the likes of Tom Lawrence and things like that, because I believe Tom Lawrence is available on a free transfer. And don't get me wrong, I think Tom Lawrence could be an excellent addition for Derby to bring in that sort of flair, that sort of create something out of nothing type player. But do I think he's sort of at the level that he was a few years ago when... what was it? Was it 15, 16 goal contributions he got that season when Derby County had that 21-point deduction, and ultimately the team was a bad team. The team that we had that year, in my opinion, was worse than the team that we had last year. It was just a bit dire. Now, I think a Tom Lawrence or Tyrhys Dolan would definitely add to this Derby County squad. I just think that Lawrence isn't the same type of player that we're sort of needing. And I think when you look at Dolan, youth, potential and ability, and it all comes in one. And I think it would be an excellent deal for Derby County to go and get done. And then obviously, as I was mentioning about Kane Wilson potentially playing further forward, Joe Ward potentially playing further forward, you've got to have that discussion in regards to Callum Brittain. Now, the deal that has been sort of going around is that he's sort of heading to Middlesbrough, but he's been training with Blackburn Rovers all week, and there hasn't really seemed to be a breakthrough in that deal over the course of the last few days. And obviously Derby County were the other club that put their own bid in, but it's one of those for me where Derby County really have to sort of, if they want Brittain, go and get him, because then you've got that opportunity of a solid right back, and then you've got Kane Wilson who you can sort of float about further up the pitch, which is what I think Derby County need, to be completely honest. I think Kane Wilson is a very, very threatening player, and I think sometimes he's wasted at right back because of the obvious defensive duties that he has to deal with. But obviously that's sort of a major talking point in regards to Kane Wilson's future, not just at Derby County, but wherever he may end up in the future. It's figuring out where he sort of plays best. Now, I know he played on the right-hand side in League One for Paul Warne and was part of the front three on numerous occasions. I believe he played as a 9 a couple of times as well with Mendes Lang when Derby County had the likes of James Collins out injured, and obviously David McGoldrick had moved on and things like that. So it's one of those where Wilson is obviously a very, very talented footballer who can play a numerous range of positions, but the problem that we're sort of facing at the moment is that I personally believe is wasted as a right back. I think the defensive duties sort of kill sort of the opportunities that he has, if I'm completely honest. But it's one of those for me where I do believe that if you can bring in the right sort of right back, like a Callum Brittain, you can literally have a rotation down that right hand side, and I think that would be like mega successful. You look at what Derby County did under Wayne Rooney. I'm not saying we were massively successful under Rooney, but with the team that we had and the fact that we nearly stayed in the division despite having 21 points deducted, I think you sort of look at that squad and what that squad was doing. With Max Bird dropping into left back, you had Festi Ebiseli, Nathan Byrne, you had the right back, left back sort of bombing on as wingers with the likes of Lawrence coming inside, you had Knight coming inside on the other end, and it was a really sort of interesting sort of shape of play, and I think it worked brilliantly. And I think if you can sort of have that sort of development again of two right backs playing along the right hand side that both have the ability to attack and defend, which Kane Wilson and Callum Brittain have, then I think it could be a very, very difficult prospect for other teams to face. Now, obviously, we play Red Bull Salzburg tomorrow, which will be a very, very interesting game, and you can obviously let me know your thoughts about that down in the comments. But will any of these deals actually get done? It's going to be very, very interesting to see how it shapes out, but you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments if you have not done so already. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell, and I'll catch you in my next video. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets.